Hey everybody, it's me, Angie. Come on neighbors, we got a few things we need to talk about. Let's all gather around. Yesterday, my husband and I did our first cooking video. I think it turned out quite well. Well, as promised, we're coming back. We're going to do some cornbread. So I'm going to turn you around and let you see how we make our cornbread here in the big state of Mississippi. We turn you around. Okay, there's the hubby.
What we're going to do is we got some white cornmeal. Oh.
Now remember, guys, I told you he's not going to measure anything, so I don't know how I'm going to gauge to you. I guess he can tell how many cups he thinks that is.
It's about a cup and a half, maybe. Let's see. Oh, and that's a half.
All right, I do need to let you know that we've already preheating our oven. He's got it on 390.
Nope, not yet.
I'm glad I said something. But what he will do, he will heat up his cast iron skillet that he's going to be cooking the cornbread in. And he'll have it all hot when he dumps the... Now this stuff he's putting in here, let me back up a little bit. All right, now we save our bacon grease. I don't know if you all do that or I'm sure you do. We didn't invent that. Our parents did it and our grandparents did it. So he puts that at the bottom of the skillet.
A good bit. A good bit.
All right, well here, let's look at it.
See, that's the oil in that skillet. That's all the skillet's made for. It's cornbread.
Yeah, that's how we use that skillet for, is to make our cornbread.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna heat that.
Now while that's heating up, he's gonna finish mixing up our cornbread. Now I do make a mean Mexican cornbread, and I'm gonna do that one day online, but that won't be today. This is just plain cornbread to be eaten with our soup today.
All right, so what we do, if we mix, say, a cup of cornmeal or a cup and a half, I put about almost, say, a little over half of a cup of flour in it. And what that does is whenever the cornmeal and all, it's all self-rising. All right, so what we're going to do, what it does is the flour makes it lighter. And you'll see it whenever we put it all together. Then I add some salt. Salt just gives it a little more taste. And we're gonna cut up do an egg.
Crack an egg in there. Just one egg.
Then we're gonna put this up. Then we're going to add some mayonnaise.
All right, now I don't know how many of you all do this, but we always add mayonnaise to our cornbread. Now, I'm going to let him explain what mayonnaise is, so I won't mess it up. It didn't make sense till he told me, because when I first saw him putting mayonnaise in there to make the cornbread, I was shocked. But then he explained it, so go ahead and tell him.
What we're doing is, whenever we put this mayonnaise in there, we already got an egg in there. So mayonnaise ain't nothing but oil and egg. I mean, the whites of the egg. So what you're going to do is I'm going to put a big old spoon of mayonnaise in there. It goes along with the oil that we're going to put in there off of our skillet. Plus that egg. That egg, the yolk and all is going to, you'll see it whenever that cornbread's done. It's going to be yellow. I mean, it's going to, but you can use yellow or white, whatever you want to do. But now, then we'll add a little milk. Then we're going to stir.
How much milk would you say that is? Cup and a half, 2 cups?
Well, I mean, I don't like putting it all at one time. I just got a consistency that I'm looking for. If it's thick, I mean, it's gonna be your cornbread's gonna be packy.
We don't like packy cornbread.
Nope. See, that goes. See how thick it is.
It's sort of like a
it's still
cake,
thick. You want it like almost a batter, but not that loose. So what we're gonna do is, see, this skillet's still heating up until that stove says it's done. It's hot. We're gonna add a little bit more milk. And while this is sitting there, that cornmeal's absorbing all that liquid, the milk. And then whenever we take that skillet out and it's hot, I'm gonna pour some of that oil in there and leave the rest of it in that skillet. That way, whenever I pour that cornbread in there, and that oil's gonna come up to the side because of that that milk in there. And it's gonna come up to the side, and then the oil's gonna come back to the top of that cornmeal. When it does that, that's whenever it's gonna really brown. But that bottom of that crust on that cornbread is gonna be crispy. I mean crispy. And that's what we all shoot for down here, is that crispy bottom. So we waiting on that
we're just waiting for the oven to preheat, get that cast iron skillet warm so we can pour this batter in. Oh yeah, let's look at our soup. Ooh wee. There it is.
Look at that. Boy, that's like putting socks on a rooster right there.
That's gonna be wonderful with that cornbread that we're making. Thank everyone that's been watching my videos. Been getting some comments about this latest one of us fixing this vegetable soup. Several of you said you were going to try it the way we were doing it. But like I said last night, we don't have a patent on it. I mean, you just go in there and you mix what you want in your vegetable cornbread, your vegetable soup, and then you heat it up. You got the right consistency.
All right, see how smooth that is? Look how smooth.
Yep.
All right, that cornmeal and that flour are still soaking up on that milk. See how it's done turned yellow with that yellow of that egg, the yolk? That's what we're looking for right there. And it's going to tighten up a little bit until that skillet gets, we'll add a little bit more milk.
You are going to have to add more milk to it?
A little bit.
Now, the thing about my cornbread, when I do the Mexican cornbread, the reason I'm asking about how much milk, because my Mexican cornbread recipe doesn't have milk. So I don't even use milk for that recipe. So that's why I'm asking questions about how much goes in the regular. Because I have to call him every time I go to fix cornbread and he's at work. I either have to text him or call him, say how many eggs, how much milk, how much flour, how much cornmeal. And he's like, well, I don't know. I don't ever measure anything. Well, then here we go. Well, is it a cup, a half a cup? Well, you got to get the right consistency, okay?
It just depends on the size of your skillet. I mean, whatever size skillet you want to make. Uh-oh.
Now, there are certain things that you use. Oh, there goes our oven. It's preheated. Cast iron skillets for. Now, down here in the South, we believe in those cast iron skillets. I fry my chicken in there. We fix our cornbread with in a cast iron skillet. What else we use that for, baby? Gravy. Fix our gravy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Making roux.
You had to fix some chocolate milk. Have him a little chocolate milk before we finish up the cornbread.
You ain't got. Hell, where I came from, that's all we had. That Magnolite.
You have to. I think every household should have at least one cast iron skillet.
I say 2.
Well, you need to start off with one so you can learn all about it and how to the temperatures, because it gets hot. Oh, that cast iron gets hot.
Hot longer.
I think he's fixing to take this skillet out of the oven here in a second and pour this mixture over in there.
All right, now see, by the time, all right, see how it thickened up again a little bit?
Nice.
We'll put a little more milk in there. Let's see. Give it a few more minutes on that skillet. We want that something just about to smoke.
Now, I hope y'all understood what he was talking about. When he takes this skillet out and that oil that's in there, he's going to take some of that oil and pour it into that batter mix and mix it up within that cornbread mix. Then he's going to leave a little bit in the skillet, and when he pours that batter over into that cast iron, the sides, the oil's gonna come up on the sides of the cornbread and just gonna have a layer over the top. And go ahead.
It's like with that oil coming up, it's like greasing a pan for a cake. You know how whenever they tell you grease a pan or your bundt cake or whatever, they want you to grease it or butter it, and then they sprinkle it with a little bit of flour. That's the same thing that oil's gonna do. That skillet being hot, that cornbread's gonna start, when it hits into that skillet, it's gonna start cooking from the side, from the bottom up. When it's pushing that oil up, once it gets over to the top, well then the oil settles back down into that cornbread through the top. That's what makes it good. Not yet.
Got a few more minutes, guys.
Got about a couple minutes. But I mean, boy, you talking about on that black iron frying some pork chops? Ooh wee.
Yes, I didn't think about that, but pork chops are really good fried in a cast iron skillet. Chicken, we've said that before. Putting the cornbread in there, it fries a pretty good egg too. If you want to use a cast iron for frying eggs, I mean, it has so many different ways you can use the cast iron. I don't really understand why everybody don't own one, except for one thing about cleaning it. How to keep it from rusting, having that rust inside it.
That's cast iron skillet. The more you use it, that iron is porous, and what it does is oil will start filling into that skillet. That's why you get, by when you washing it, or I mean, a lot of people use soap. Down there in Louisiana, we didn't soap no black iron skillet. I mean, we washed it out with hot water, wiped it down, put oil in the skillet. Nothing else. We put it in a paper bag, especially if that was one that my grandma and them was gonna cook. That's all they done was cook a chicken. But whenever you do that, each time you use it, the pores open up, and that oil kind of seeps down through there, and it is seasoning itself. But if you buy one to cure it up, it takes a little while, but you won't regret it.
Well, when I wash ours out and the little bit of dampness that it has in it, I just turn the burner on the stove and just let it heat up and absorb that dampness that's in the cast iron.
Low, or wipe that thing out with a paper towel.
Yeah, wipe it out with a paper towel or something.
Because if you ain't got no oil in it, you're going to start cooking the oil back out of it.
Right. We about
ready. A
ready.
little bit more milk. Ain't much. Now.
Yeah, you better get you a few, all right, guys, here we go.
All right, let's see.
You got enough room to set it on the stove?
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's piping hot. So he's gonna take some of that oil, pour it into the.
Watch it. It'll cook it. It's gonna cook some of that cornbread. See it?
You ought to be able to hear it.
And then you leave that in there. Ease up. Slide it here. All right, then we're gonna stir it in. See how we're folding that oil back in there? See it? That skillet's still hot.
And that's bacon grease, and I can smell it. That smells good.
Then we're gonna pour that in here. You shine your thing up in here?
Mm-hmm.
See that oil coming up to the top? But Angie's grandma was the one that told me about the mayonnaise, because I was adding extra eggs, and it's like you frying it then. But she said put that mayonnaise in there because that's an egg. All right, here you go. You showed them?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna set that in the oven. Look at that oil, see that? But see how it's separating across the edge? There we go. We're gonna stick that in there. We're gonna let that cook for about 40 minutes. 45 minutes probably. And then I'll let her show you what it looks like when we flip him back there on the plate.
All right, guys. We'll let you know how it turns out. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, and share. See you later, YouTube.